Welcome to Mind Your Business, the channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. Today we're talking about two popular ITV shows, Jeremy Kyle and Love Island. Now, Jeremy Kyle is a British journalist and writer, and he's actually known for hosting a tabloid talk show, The Jeremy Kyle Show, on ITV from 2005 to this year, 2019. Now, if you don't know him, think of a UK Jerry Springer, but where Jerry screams and shouts at his guests. Well, let me show you what I mean. Now, the talk show Jeremy Kyle has been cancelled following the suicide of a guest named Steve Diamond, who took his life 10 days after filming. Now, to be honest, I'm surprised the show lasted as long as it did. I always felt like it was mostly entertainment and, it wasn't really there to help guests, improve their lives. I felt like it was just more of a, just watch what's going on and watch this kind of car crash TV happen in front of our eyes. Now, what's interesting is that I have worked in entertainment and I do have some insider knowledge, and it was alleged that the staff played a major role in causing the on-screen drama. I'm talking about really winding people up in the back, making things really worse. So, granted, most of the people who do call up the show, they call up the show to be on there. But the question is, how stable are these people that are calling up to be on the show? And why do you think lots of them came out shouting and ranting and raving before they even sat down on the sofa to discuss their issues? Yes, fair enough, there were some cases where you could see fellow contestants live on the couch having a bit of a argy-bargy, bit of an argument, but a lot of the time what people didn't realise is that the staff in the back were egging people on quite a lot, and they played a role in that. And I should say allegedly, okay? Allegedly, they were in the back egging staff on. So I'm talking about, encouraging people and adding fuel to the fire. So things like, saying, well, did you know that so-and-so said that about you? And did you know that they said this and they said that? So by the time they hit the stage, they are fully amped up and angry. So I suppose it's no surprise. Most people who hit the stage kind of ranting and raving with that kind of thing going on. Now, of course, there are some Jeremy Kyle guests that have been on and that have said, it has helped improve their lives. That's great if that is the case. But I've always questioned that show. So since the story broke about the show being cancelled, more information has been coming out and revealing the devastation caused. So a 20-year-old has come forward with her story about attempting to take her life twice due to the show, because she was on the show, and then of course after that she had lots of harassment and trolls going after her. In another case, a past guest had claimed that his ex-wife actually committed suicide as well, and that was after being on the show as well. And on top of that, there was a set of parents that of another guest who were alleging that their son died 3 months after making an appearance on the show, and that would be in 2014. So the question is, what are these TV shows doing to ensure the mental well-being of their guests? And what kind of screening did they do to have before they even put their guests on the show? What aftercare do they offer? Because it's interesting, because a 20-year-old who admits to trying to take her life twice mentioned being offered only 2 private therapy sessions after being on Jeremy Kyle Show. Like, what are you doing? I want a backside. What is that going to do for anybody? Nothing. Because at the end of the day, you're on a show that is being broadcast around the world, and it's online, it's everywhere you can access it. So of course you're going to get a lot of heat. Then it's going to have an adverse effect on you naturally. So that's why I say that I was actually surprised that it's taken this long for it to come to an ending. Because really, there are some good parts about it. Of course, they had the counsellor on the show and he was giving out advice, but how far were they going with it? Because there are a lot of lives that they were touching. Now, I've had to come back on it in here and edit this video because there's been more breaking news on this Jeremy Kyle story, and it does back up basically what I've been saying about my alleged insider information. So now the Daily Telegraph are actually reporting that one employee who worked on the show has been speaking to Channel 4's Dispatches programme anonymously and has been saying that the producers did actually smoke and drink with the guest on the show. He says that the producers occasionally smoked cannabis with guests to keep them happy before filming. Apparently, taxis paid by the production team were allegedly used on occasion for guests to meet their drug dealers en route to the studios. And that's a separate source that has claimed that as well. On another occasion, apparently a producer was allegedly told to ensure a guest took a drug despite the fact that he had kicked his addiction, as it would mean that, you know, the storyline in the show would become redundant. So you can clearly see that there was a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that was not in the benefit or in the betterment of the guests that were actually appearing on the show. And a lot of the guests had come from, you know, very troubled backgrounds, where they're dealing with drug addiction, sex issues, whatever the case is. There was lots going on, okay, you know, and obviously we know that Jeremy Kyle kind of built his career on being controversial and being very confrontational, but you're dealing with very vulnerable people here, and I think clearly there's some issues around being exploited. So, you know, was it a case of, are they exploiting people, or were they really helping people? So let's look at Love Island, the popular show where young people go to find love. Well, more like have a shag, basically a shag fest, and it has faced a similar controversy with two former Love Island participants committing suicide, a 32-year-old woman last year and a 26-year-old man this year. This is despite it facing criticism, but let's face it, you know, the show is a big money maker for them, so they're not going to be in a hurry to cancel this show. And it is actually back on the 3rd of June, I believe it is. It's back on ITV. And of course, because of the whole Jeremy Kyle fallout, they have now announced that they have a duty of care process that they're putting in place. I'm sure they had something in place, but now that this has happened, they've had to put something, you know, a bit more concrete in place. So this will actually include, you know, psychological support. Apparently, they get a few more counselling sessions, and there's some more detail going into the, you know, how the impact of the show can, you know, really impact people's lives, basically. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But I wanted to bring this up because I don't know how many people were aware of the Love Island contestants that had actually committed suicide. And of course, we know that there's been suicides related to Jeremy Kyle. So my question is, how come Jeremy Kyle got cancelled and Love Island didn't? Well, obviously, I answered that already because I think it's about making money. And obviously, this is young people, and they're going to want to, you know, exploit young people. It's quite a popular program. It's supposed to be a reality type show. So I'll be staying tuned to see what happens with that. But let me know what you think below in the comments, you know. Do you think that, you know, Jeremy Kyle should have been cancelled? Are you happy that he got cancelled? What do you think about Love Island? Are you happy that it's back? Do you think that they should have cancelled that as well? I'm sure a lot of people are happy that it is back, so it'd be interesting to see how this goes going forward. Like I say, get in the comments, and until next time, stay safe, my nosy people. Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.